Here we go.
Boom! You are live, yes, on the Truman Show, episode 470 with the great Frank Shields. How are you, Frank?
Oh, well, yeah, happy to be on the show again.
Yeah, you look wonderful, I should say, after a great trip to UK. You're back
Yes,
with us.
it was
That's
beautiful.
wonderful. Today we're going to start with the female. I think for the females. It's a long one. Like we said, we're going to do it in two parts because we want to take time also to reflect on what we read, not lose track. So then after, we should be able to do... it's very interesting what's coming in the book. Like.
Oh, yeah.
Special to special. I like that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And great news, PT will be live on the Truman Show Wednesday, 10 a.m. Montreal time.
Yes.
With me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
With me.
Very much looking forward to that. It's always always great to hear P coming.
It's going to be a talk on the upper realm and lower realm. Now in the title, like I told you what he said, but in the title I put upper realm and lower realm realities. Because I'm like, okay, realm, real realities. There must be some realities about that.
Yes. What can we know? What can we know about it?
Exact. What can we know about that?
Yeah.
So, yes, PT on the Truman Show Wednesday. So for now, Frank, I'm having you. So let's be here and now.
That's it.
And I'll let you start with for the females.
Yes.
While you read, I'll get the French book because I don't have it.
Okay, sounds good. For the females. A recent phenomenon called modern women's lib was supposedly all about empowering females through, 1, being financially independent, which meant they do regular jobs like males, which, as one would expect, made them more butch and eroded their femininity. So women's lib actually turned out to be a war against femininity. It also ended up helping the evil system. The more bodies at work, the better. 2, an impression was given that a surefire way to reach equality with males was to encourage females to do things which men do, as in get drunk and have as much sex as they wanted with as many as they wanted. And the females actually went out and did it. Loads of sedation and pills of all kinds were required in order to do it. But it was done anyways. But was there a gain in sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry? Didn't all the one-night stands turn out to be hollow, gross experiences? Was anything gained except the meaning of one's own body and image? When women's lib was on the surface about women's empowerment, but it was actually about their disempowerment. The original power of women had always been there since separation of the sexes, and it lay in choosing which way and direction the gene pool moved/progressed. They chose who they would breed with, and in doing so, they decided which qualities would be carried forward. This is how Bene Gesserits, I think that's how you say it. This is how Bene Gesserits controlled the gene flow in Dune. This choice was what males were always afraid of. It made the males work hard to inculcate higher divine qualities, which were more appealing to the female counterparts. Just like a peacock and not a peahen works on the plumage and dancing to make himself worthy, women basically willingly dropped themselves from this pedestal in the name of women's lib and lost all grace and dignity. The more Tom, Dick, and Harrys they slept with, the more boundaries disappeared, and the more they were willing to do anything, including commoditize/prostitute themselves in guises of advertising, entertainment, fashion, etc., etc.
Yeah. So, pour les femmes en français, phénomène récent appelé mouvement de libération des femmes. Cela avait en gros pour but de valoriser les femmes à travers premièrement, être financièrement indépendantes, ce qui voulait dire qu'elles ont des emplois réguliers comme les hommes, qui, comme on aurait pu s'y attendre, les a rendues plus viriles et érodé leur féminité. Donc, la libération des femmes s'est avérée être une guerre contre la féminité. Cela a aussi fini par aider le système du mal. Plus qu'il y a d'employés au travail, le mieux c'est. Deuxièmement, une impression a été donnée qu'un moyen infaillible d'atteindre l'égalité avec les hommes était d'encourager les femmes à faire ce que les hommes font. Exemple, se saouler et avoir autant de sexe que possible avec autant que possible. Et les femmes s'y sont réellement mises et l'ont fait énormément. De sédation et de pilules de tout genre étaient requises pour le faire, mais cela a tout de même été fait. Mais il y avait un gain à coucher avec tous ces Tom, Dick et Harry. Est-ce que tous les coups d'un soir n'étaient pas juste de répugnantes expériences vides? Y a-t-il eu quelque chose de gagné, mis à part la dégradation de son corps et de son image? La libération des femmes était à la surface pour la valorisation des femmes, mais c'était en fait pour la dévalorisation. Le pouvoir originel des femmes a toujours été là, depuis la séparation des sexes, et il se trouve dans le choix de la direction du chemin dans lequel le patrimoine génétique avançait, progressait. Elle choisissait avec qui elle se reproduisait et, en faisant cela, elle décidait quelle qualité existerait dans le futur de leur patrimoine génétique. C'est comme ça que Bene Gesserit contrôle le flux. Me too, I had a bit of problem pronouncing that word. Bene Gesserit contrôle le flux génétique dans Dune.
Yeah.
Ce choix était ce dont les hommes avaient toujours peur. Cela les faisait travailler dur pour s'inculquer des qualités supérieures divines qui étaient plus attirantes pour leurs homologues féminins. Exactement comme un paon, et pas une paonne travaille sur son plumage et sa danse pour se rendre méritant. Les femmes se sont descendues de ce piédestal, de leur plein gré, au nom de la libération des femmes, et ont perdu toute grâce et dignité. Le plus de Tom, Dick et Harry avec qui elles couchaient, plus les barrières disparaissaient. Et plus elles étaient prêtes à faire n'importe quoi, y compris se standardiser, se prostituer en guise de publicité, de divertissement, de mode, etc., etc. Yeah, so that's it. I think there is something definitely to grasp for the feminine part here, also for men, definitely. Yeah. But there is a phenomenon for sure. It's called la libération des femmes, the women's lib, and I think we saw that movement starting to rise. I think I would say in the 70s, 80s, it started to be very strong and starting to brainwash women into all kinds of nonsense. And I think women have lost a lot. If you look around, you will definitely notice that many women have lost their femininity and dignity and stuff, and integrity also. Integrity, because we should maintain our integrity, which is of utmost importance. And I'm talking about your vibrational integrity. Like you vibe on a certain level as a woman, definitely, as a man also, but you should really preserve that. I like to see woman feminine. I don't like to see woman manly woman. Like it's not really a thing. Like I am a man myself, so for sure, feminine women that are feminine, really, it's really attractive for sure. And that's, I think, also there's a wrong conceptual thing amongst women that they have to show body parts to be attractive, or they have to,
Right.
like, it has nothing really to do with that. I think what's the most attractive in a woman is also the intelligence, like the
Mhm.
intellect. And can you are it's really good that the woman is super beautiful, like look like a super babe, and like bikini babe and beach. Like you can imagine the super, but if you cannot have a talk with her or reason with her or
Right.
connect with her on many different levels, what's even the purpose of being super pretty? Like the
Mhm.
beauty is in the inside. The first beauty I always notice is within. So then if you have beauty within it, we're all beautiful on the outside. I always said it. It's the beauty within that we should really work on. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that's a lot where women gets the they think they have to do certain things that society tells them to attract men, and which often we're naturally attracted to women. We don't need to be attracted. Like I'm naturally attracted to women, so I don't
Right.
need to force or train myself. But sometimes the way women uh, arrange themselves and stuff is more non-attractive than attractive. I don't know
Mhm.
if you see what natural woman is attractive. You don't need to put makeup, don't need to put nothing. You don't need to force to seduce a man. We're
Right.
already seduced at start. Like you don't need to force it.
Right.
So that's why women should not, and often I think that's the collective trauma that a woman feels a lot, is that they, because of that desire to please or to be appealing towards men, they will go to crazy extent just to please and to be, yeah, which, like, we are, if you keep it on the natural side, it's naturally attractive. Like
Mhm.
that's what I think. So Frank, expand a bit on those two first pages, and maybe we'll finish the rest after. Not maybe,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. 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 This is like you said before. We're getting into some. I mean, all these different writings, have their place and place of interest, and like P leaves no stone unturned. So of course this is an issue that we deal with as beings living in this world, and yeah, this it's just part of life. We all got here through two beings come together at some point. Of course, there's also different ways in this current day and age for people to produce children with like IVF and different things like that. But overall, how do beings get incarnated into this world? And that's through a male and a female coming together, right? That's a natural thing. But like Pete talks about here, like how the direction of the general population of the masses comes about, like that is going to be influenced by the choice that the female makes. Like, I'm going to choose this male, and that, like piece it says here, is like that's the real power that women have in influencing like the entire humanity, and part of this this kind of false movement, or it's just okay. This whole women's lib thing, right, is that it was given and put out there like, okay, this is something that you all as women should start implementing and start taking on these different ideas and concepts and start being these certain ways. it was given as something that's going to empower them, but actually it made them start to do actions and embody qualities that actually weakened them. So it made it easier for males to have access to females, but at the same time, that choice affected the whole world in large, like in a negative way. But like P says here, the first let's see, a recent modern phenomenon called women's lib was about empowering females through one being financially independent. So that meant for the women to join a lot of the workforce, which financially speaking automatically made any type of taxation. So like the taxes that the governments were going to receive doubled. If all the women's are going to start working, then, and they're paying taxes too, then all of a sudden the government and whatnot is going to get more money from the people, which, who knows what they're doing with that. And like P says here, it eroded their femininity and it made them more butch. So that doesn't actually mean from them, doing like, it doesn't mean that women can't work hard, because they can. Like women actually, by design, are naturally, they can, they have more, what you would say, like pain tolerance and endurance in certain ways. And that's like inherent in like the way that divine made them. Like they are childbearing, right? So they give birth. That's an experience that males will never go through. And that, you have to stretch your entire body, the whole, like going through the pregnancy. It's a very endurance thing, and if you see, for instance, like women who are more in like a tribal setting and stuff like that, they'll be carrying the pots of water on their head for like long distances, and they'll have like a baby under their arm, and they're doing all these things that men, you don't see that happening with men. Men are more designed for like short bursts of short bursts of like dynamic and tactical energy, but women are more so designed to be able to have this like long endurance and like have that strength, and you can like go for a really long ways. And that's actually not how men are designed. So it doesn't mean that women can't work hard, because they can, and they're designed to be able to do that also. But I think, part of what P's saying here, that it eroded their femininity, is that women started to want to take on the qualities of males, and start to dress more like in suits and like have a lot of these different things that aren't actually feminine in nature. And like you're talking about, it's not that we're all born and given different bodies, and so we're not all going to be, like top model style or whatever, but it's to embody femininity. Actually, you think about masculine versus feminine. If you think about solar versus lunar, you can start to grasp like which qualities are actually feminine. And so this feminine piece is like nurturing, it's mothering, it's receptive, it's listening, it's going to be able to and also, like we're talking about working hard. I mean, you think about the job of a mother, and not everyone is going to be choose to bring children into this world, but the piece of motherhood is a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, that's true for parenting in general, but you're taking care of the children, you're dressing them, you're feeding them, you're taking them places. It's a constant work that you're having to do, taking care of children. And that goes for males and females, like especially in today's time, if it's going to be like a nuclear family unit that's going to work cohesively, it's a lot of work. So I'm just bringing that up because, I mean, females can work really hard. And not that they just have to stay in the place of domestic work, because yes, they can go out into the world and do things and work also. That's that's a given. But that point is one of the pieces that P's bringing up here. And then, like P's saying here, Two, how else are they empowering women through this women's lib? An impression was given that a surefire way to reach equality with males was to encourage females to do things which males do. And these are the things that I was just mentioning. Start to inculcate like the bad qualities that males have, like being very loose with their boundaries, being very, like, so this encouragement to just give yourself away, and that is obviously not a good choice. And energetically speaking, with the women, with females being the receptive end of the sex act, then whatever consciousness and vibes and all that kind of stuff that the male has, whoever a woman chooses to be with, she's going to be taking that in energetically also. So females have to, in the nature of creation, they have to be more discerning as to who they're going to choose to be close with in that way. Women want, ideally, they're going to want to choose a male who has positive qualities. And that's what P's talking about here, that the power that women have in choosing who they're going to mate with, who they're going to be close with like that. They're going to choose what they can find is the best. And so that means to become more qualified to be a recipient or to be one who gets chosen, that means the male has to work hard. That means the male has to work on being disciplined. The male has to work on cultivating intelligence. The male has to work on developing a connection with nature and the elements. And in the bigger sense, we might not see that in today's world, but what do you see? Like, there's a lot of talks about like women wanting to choose like a high value male or whatever, and that's like a male who's like high earning and these kind of things. In today's society, that might not be necessarily associated with real intelligence of evolution and things like that, but these are all like very beautiful points the piece making here, and it's something that's not really acknowledged or talked about very openly in our society, just in terms of like, what is the male and the female dynamic? What is the role? Like, how do women have a more discernment, as to like who they want to pick? Because it's really important, It's not. It's actually is for real. It's not just a game, So, but through the way that we've been manipulated through these different kind of false movements, and it's caused us to kind of go along with the status quo, or it's influenced us to make choices that we might not have made otherwise. That has it's led us into this situation that we're in, which is a lot of hardship.
The whole thing could be, we could talk about it like for probably 24 hours and we're still gonna have something to say about it. But also the fact of bringing women into the workforce, like making them do jobs like police and firemen and firewomen, and is it absolutely necessary, or it's to even push further the defeminization of women? Like, let me extend my thought on it.
Right.
If we look at nature, birds and animals, and the feminine part of the animals nurture the children often. Like some species, it's the male. I get it. But mostly it's the feminine, that part that nurture the children. So should the woman be, but now there's the other part that all the women would say, we want to get out the house, we want to go out, we want to experience something else than just being all the time with children.
Of course.
So it's I think having children is very much emotional. Like life is mental. The whole life is mental. It's all emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something hard physically, but it's something hard emotionally because you will be triggered a lot into many different kind of emotion. Now, is it absolutely necessary for the women to go work out in Babylon and all that? Like the ultimate goal here is okay, we do work in the system to survive, but
Right.
that's not the ultimate work. The ultimate work is higher and divine. It's to be on the payroll of higher and divine. That should be each and every one our goal, to end up on that payroll
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with all the blessings that come along and the good vibration and the good emotion and stuff.
Right.
So just going into society to work, it's not even their life work. So now we're tainting the old feminine experience with associating it with going to work and valorizing that kind of work. Even for men, it's not your life work. So all this is just to survive because they want us to have money to buy freaking everything. So
Right.
you need to gain to go get that money. So women, of course, in the world we live in today, everything is expensive and stuff. So I think it's by design to even erode the femininity of women even more by but also the way the whole system is designed. uh, you're not very busy in your life if you don't go to work. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
will end up
Yeah.
probably bored if you don't find something to do because you have no
Right.
land to cultivate, you have no farm, you have no farmland, or you have nothing really taking responsibility about to stay busy. So it's so uh wow, man, it's like it's hard to say, okay, we're gonna feel good or we're gonna feel bad about it, or because we're
Right.
so stuck in that system, in that survival mode, that
Mm-hmm.
we forget the survival SCR.
Yeah.
We go SUR most
Right.
of the time, but I don't know. Maybe I think there's a possibility for everyone to reach a higher realm of realities for your own life.
Right.
Woman or man or any living thing, anything that exists carry a frequency. Anything
Mm-hmm.
that exists, everything that is living has vibration. So you should just up that vibe and really, be more. I don't know. It's very the whole thing about the work thing is because we're in the impression also that it's absolutely necessary, to go work in Babylon, and
Right.
because we never really designed anything for ourselves all our life. So our perspective is that we need to work, but we need to work on ourselves. That should be the first perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to go earn money, but you also need to work on yourself to clear all that stuff, that nonsense within. Anyway,
Right.
and anyway, so finish the two other pages, Frank, and
Yes. We'll continue.
yeah.
So, males, on the other hand, were and are quite happy with the proceedings, as they didn't have to work on themselves anymore. There were enough drunken variety of the female species now roaming the streets, and it was hyper easy to get lucky and get laid. Only quality they now needed to work on was flattery and superficiality. This was helpful in women getting fleeting temporary ego massages, but surely was not helpful for the gene pool's evolution, as the offspring of such unions were always going to be low quality. When a female sleeps with a male, they are basically saying to them, we, being the receptive vehicle as nature designed, want you to embed us, as in, we want something from you, as in, the male has something important to give. Any normal male gets confidence from this okay stamp. He feels he has something important to give, so females actually end up raising the confidence of low-quality males. Violence, barbarianism, and devoluting stupidity follow. So women's lib was actually a movement for the decline and devolution of the race through losing the perspective of educated choice. In ancient Vedic tales, the women usually chose their husbands in a ceremony called Swayamvar. They basically chose whoever they thought was the best specimen, or didn't choose any if they thought no one was good enough. That, to me, was real women's lib. It's only since the Dark Ages set in did the concept of arranged marriages arise in the East. In the West, the women lost all discrimination, an easy thing to do when you are doing all the nonsense that men do with equal gusto. Now the situation has reached such a level that even 14 and 15-year-old schoolgirls look weary and worn out through behaving like professional prostitutes. I don't see any empowerment in this. It's just an easy descent into the abysses of hell. The only way out, restoration of dignity through self-discipline and pursuit of the higher.
Yeah. Les hommes, en revanche, sont plutôt contents avec cette situation, comme ils n'avaient plus besoin de travailler sur eux-mêmes. Il y avait assez de variétés d'ivrognes de l'espèce féminine errant dans les rues, et c'était hyper facile d'être chanceux et de s'envoyer en l'air. La seule qualité qu'il avait maintenant besoin de développer, c'était la flatterie et la superficialité. C'était utile pour les massages d'ego temporaires futiles que les femmes recevaient, mais ce n'était certainement pas utile pour l'évolution du patrimoine génétique, vu que la progéniture de telles unions allait toujours être de basse qualité. Quand une femme couche avec un homme, elle leur dit essentiellement « Nous, qui sommes le véhicule réceptif, comme la nature l'a conçu, voulons que vous nous implantiez. Yeah. » Exemple, nous voulons quelque chose de vous. L'homme a quelque chose d'important à donner. N'importe quel homme normal devient confiant à partir de ce tampon OK. Il ressent quelque chose d'important à donner, donc les femmes finissent par élever la confiance d'hommes de basse qualité. Violence, barbarisme et stupidité non évolutive suivent la libération des femmes était en fait un mouvement pour le déclin et la dévolution de la race à travers la perte d'une perspective d'un choix éduqué. Dans les anciens récits védiques, les femmes choisissaient habituellement son mari dans une cérémonie appelée Swayamvar. Elles choisissaient essentiellement qui elles pensaient être le meilleur spécimen ou ne choisissaient personne si elles pensaient que personne n'était assez bien. Ça, pour moi, c'était vraiment la libération des femmes. C'est seulement depuis que les âges sombres se sont installés que le concept de mariage arrangé est survenu à l'Est. Dans l'Ouest, les femmes ont perdu toute discrimination. Une chose facile à faire quand vous faites toutes les absurdités que les hommes font avec le même enthousiasme. Maintenant, la situation a atteint un niveau tel que même des écolières de 14-15 ans ont l'air lasses et épuisées parce qu'elles se comportent comme des prostituées. Je ne vois aucune valorisation dans cela. C'est juste une descente facile dans les abysses de l'enfer. La seule sortie, restauration de dignité à travers la discipline de soi et la poursuite du supérieur. The higher and divine chase or will always be the liberation for everything. It's like
Yes.
out of depression, out of everything. Like you need to start being creative and, like I say, change your payroll. You're just not on the right payroll. Satan or the evil payroll, but you will get all the bad stuff that this earth and the world, the people of this earth has to offer. Just focus on higher and divine, and that is focusing on you, taking care of yourself. All this stuff also is to make us forget about ourselves.
Yeah.
We lose ourselves a lot into trying to conquer someone else, another imperfect being.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should really work on your own perfection, attain that state of coherence, perfection, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's possible in one lifetime here for human because we're so deeply programmed and fucked up. So I don't know if it's possible in one lifetime, but you can certainly work on it. Definitely. Now, I cannot guarantee you a sure exit from this realm, but you can work on it and at least feel better in the moment. And that's a bit what all these things do. Like when you see, like he says, little schoolgirl, a 14, 15-year-old uh, acting like prostitute, like there's a real big problem in our society.
Yeah.
We know it, but I mean, sometimes we just put our head in the sand and we avoid everything that has to do with truth and reality because it's way too hard to process. And the same thing for the woman's lib thing. I think people, if they change their perspective on the whole movement, on the whole thing, they will realize that it's for the evolution, not for. And everything is inverted in this world. So you
Right.
look at something, always look at the inverted way. You'll probably find the truth in there,
Yeah.
in between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, Frank.
Yes. Yeah. He makes some more great points here, and it's if you look at it all through the viewpoint of the misleaders, it makes sense, this tactic that they have employed, because um, their overall agenda is to control the masses, to have an enslavement of the people. So they have the energy, the efforts of the masses doing work for their benefit, even though they're not qualified to lead the people, because they don't have a real care, concern, and love for their own selves or the people in which they are ruling. So how do you get people to what's part of the plan of enslaving people, is you have to have them at a very low state of consciousness. You have to have them at a very low vibration, low intelligence. And overall, how do you dumb down or water down a people? And that is through making their reproductive or choices to be unconscious in that sense. So, or unconscious, or something that is unnatural, in which, like P's saying here, like the natural way that men and women come together is that, like, the female sees something, oh, I like that. This male has something about him that's not just going along with the magazines, their movies, the media, but they have some real intelligence behind them, and it's a real thing. And if women can come back to that, then that is something that is going to be helpful for themselves and for the direction of the population of Earth. Now, there's also the point of, well, where are the males? Where are the real males? Because also through this whole thing, it's like P says here, by the women being manipulated to make the wrong choice, this has boosted the confidence of low quality males, which therefore has perpetuated all these qualities like violence, barbarianism, stupidity, like these are the things that the males who've been chosen are expressing these qualities throughout their life. And so those qualities and those energies are going to multiply in the world in how people act. You know, this violence or this these kind of things, they just increase. And so males also is for both of us, it's for everyone, obviously, that how do we get out of this vicious cycle? You know, restoration of dignity comes through self-discipline and pursuit of the higher. And this is the real work, like you were talking about. This is where we as beings have to start taking responsibility for ourselves and say, hey, you know what? I actually want something really good for myself. You know, I don't want to get duped anymore. I don't want to get tricked. I don't want to just go along with something without knowing that actually this is the real thing. I want the real thing for myself. I want real health. I want to feel good. I want to just be connected with nature and divine and the intelligence of nature and divine. I want that to flow into me and for me to be able to operate on that system and not operate on a system that's going to be based on, you know, lies and false pretense and all that.
The default system.
Yes, that we see today. But yeah, it's cool how P brings it back to like how it used to be. This piece of the Swayamvar, which showed the basis of like the women's power. You know, they had the choice to choose something that they found actually more interesting. It had a quality about it that they're like, I want to go after that, and not something. And like P says, if there wasn't something good enough, then they just, you know, said, no, I'm good. I'm just going to wait until I can find something. And that quality of patience and perseverance, I mean, that's not always easy, but at the same time, like, it's required. We have to start to implement that restraint for ourselves. So
women also have lost the ability to kind of recognize that Luke Skywalker, like, you know,
right.
there is men out there that are very, very intelligent, very strong, very great leaders and stuff, but it seems that women have lost their ability to recognize that also through all the deceptive program that we've been put through collectively, the men and women, and like they lost that ability of recognizing
well, they've increased their willingness to settle for less, you know. Exactly. So like maybe they could still see that, but they're like, where is that? There's none of that, basically, or it's very few. The number of quality males is way less, you know. And so
that's true also.
So then
the gene pool's diluted.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's a tough place, you know. I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to go through life, you know, solo or to be on this search and just like where, you know, it's like a desert. Really, like this world is very much a desert of people who are wanting to do or who have taken the higher road. You know, that is like, you know, what's the saying? The path to heaven is lonely one or something like that, and like better to have company in hell or whatever. You know, it's like, well, I'll just go along with everybody else. You know. But
most people prefer have company in the hell than take the slow road, lonely road to the heavens.
The higher, yeah, exactly.
Higher, and
so you know that brings us to the place that we're in, where there's a lot of people here who, you know, what is the general mind state of, you know, the Americas or something, like where there's lots of depression, lots of people who are on medications and lots of anxiety and all different sorts of uncomfortable, you know, mind states and all that kind of stuff.
I would say also out of sync with their magnetic field and magnetical power and like the power to attract stuff to you. And So you
Right.
can attract the right female, right male. If you preserve that magnetic field vibration that you have, maybe you will attract a better person also. Like
Right.
if you work on preserving the integrity of your magnetic field,
Yes.
of course, like there's something that's going to be happening positive
Hmm.
or negative. It depends which way you go with that. But
Right.
you can also block a lot of negative stuff just by staying positive. Like make sure
Yeah.
that vibration is positive and you will attract positive female, positive male. It will
Right.
come to you. I think it's just also a matter that our integrity is really broken down, like broken down slaves and stuff.
Hmm.
So work on rebuilding that integrity, that coherency, and everything will come. You don't even have to worry about it. It will
Hmm.
come into your life because you will attract it. Like
Yeah.
life is simple. We make it so complicated, but it's so simple.
Yeah.
Preserve your integrity.
Yeah.
Preserve your vibe. Preserve yourself. Self-preservation is a must.
Yes.
You heard that in a song here.
Uh-huh.
Tempene.
Yeah.
Self-preservation is a must.
It is. Right.
You don't have that, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have health, you don't have nothing. You have no energy. So
Hmm.
self-preservation, preserve that vibration and that positive. And what you think you will attract a negative male or a negative female? Like a lot of people often end up alone at the older age because they have never worked on themselves, on preserving that integrity, that female or male integrity. And that's big what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So it's not overnight that you rebuilt your integrity. It's been broken down for years and years by programming and
Yes.
nonsense that you have ingested, either your eyes, throat, everywhere. So
Right.
you clear all this, the man's work, yes, but don't you want good things to happen to you in life? Don't you want to feel good with life? Don't you want to feel good in the moment?
Right.
Well, wake up, preserve that integrity.
Hmm.
That's my message, anyway.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Yeah, because that's a discipline that we have to have
Yeah,
as males
discipline.
or as females, like say that you're a male, right? And you're working on doing your work, and so a female comes to you, maybe she's interested. You have to set the bar. You can't just accept anyone, they have to be striving for a positive life too. They can't have all these bad habits that you just accept and be like, okay, well, maybe you'll change. No, you have to be like, no, we're not going to be, dabbling in just being intoxicated and like doing drugs or alcohol. No, you have to set the bar higher and be like, we're going to be doing something that's more positive for ourselves. We're going to eat well, like P says in the vegetarian P-log, like the carnivores and the vegetarian animals, they don't mix. So it's not going to work like that for the human species either, like because the whole meat diet is just going to allow a looser boundary for like lower qualities to kind of like be hiding in the shadows, and we're wanting to like not have any of that baggage if possible. We're wanting to kind of keep a clean space within and on the outside of us. And so
And the meat diet is really tainted with a processing curse associated with it too.
oh yeah.
I'm not We're not discussing the fact of eating meat, but not
Right.
that. The meat diet, the freaking barbarian demonic human creatures that go around and kill animals like crazy.
Mhm.
That's wrong.
Yeah, the whole factory meat.
Oh, factory shit nonsense is wrong.
Yeah, it
But
is.
you know, as a collective, we have to. I don't think we don't realize it. There's no one that would go see a slaughterhouse that would probably get out of there and feel good after.
Right.
It's murder after murder. It's a murder house. It's a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
It's sick, crazy. But that's it. It's something we have to come to a realization as a whole.
Right. Yeah.
I do see it, the barbarian demonic stuff, and it's just a matter of perspective. Change your perspective, we change the world. Change our perspective collectively, we change this world.
Yeah.
Just change the way you see things. You want to wake up, change the way you see things.
Yeah.
That's what it is to wake up. That's what it's not because I've been blessed with the really infused divine knowledge and stuff. No, I just changed my perspective, the way I was seeing things.
Yeah.
And that's everything. So same thing for women, and a lot of your perspective on men is wrong, and men, your perspective on women is wrong. So that's what you will attract. If you always go on the side of evolution and you are a person that wants to evolve and put out good vibes and stuff, that's what you will attract. If you are with a man that is low vibration, it's probably because you are low vibration yourself. Like you cannot, like it's a law of nature. Like we're not gonna redo the wheel here today. Like the wheel is the wheel. So we're not gonna redo a wheel. So same thing. Laws of nature are laws of nature. It's inherent in nature, and it will be there forever. So you reap what you sow. You don't sow nothing, you'll reap nothing.
Yeah.
Reap good quality, and by sowing good quality vibe within yourself, and that's everything in your life will manifest on the side of positivity and harmony also. Like we're supposed to be harmonious with this earth. Like, are we supposed to be in discord, turmoil, and freaking struggle all our life? No, we're here to kill the struggle. Like, should I struggle all my life? No. But that's what we do most of the time, because we have no intent to kill that struggle.
Right.
I'm here to kill the struggle. For sure, definitely. So, Frank, it's good to struggle, to hustle, to bust your ass and stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's not...
Yeah, we have to have that work ethic. We have to be willing to put in the work. But at the same time, the real work is actually really pleasurable. Now, it takes a consistent push, but at the same time, the earth provides us the things that we need, that gives us the energy to move forward. And, then we go, we sing that song and we dance and we keep going to rise, and it's really good. And now that we face the hardships that are here also, that is part of being in a body on this earth. There's death, disease, decay. The people that we care about or love, we're going to watch them. They're going to have hard times too. But at the same time, that's why P focuses on come back to the center. There's something that you can always be doing. No matter what your situation or circumstance is in your life, there might be things that are like easier, or might be things that are more difficult to be experiencing. But at the same time, we can always work on centering ourselves, coming back, doing the basics, connecting with the earth, eating well, praising and showing your gratitude toward nature and divine. And that really is just this like uplifting way of life that we just got to keep making those steps going forward,
Yeah, we can heal from that trauma. It's possible to, if you cut yourself, you will heal. Your body has potential to heal itself. Yeah. So you can heal the trauma in your head too. It's very possible if you work on yourself and you're present within yourself. But very often we're so far from even being within ourselves, like we're in the future or the past. Like the present is not something we really consider as a present.
Yeah.
But it should be. It's a gift. The gift of life is in the present moment. So, yeah. So, Frank, I think we'll leave that like this for today, because it's close to an hour. And that's it. We'll be together again next Moon Day to keep going on our review. Yes. I wouldn't say we're almost done. There's still quite a bit to go.
we're past halfway though, so we're getting closer.
I think we're a bit over the half, but
Yes.
yeah, there's still probably another 50 episode or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We're gonna
That's so
be
great. I'm so glad that we're doing this. This is really fun.
yeah, it's fun and it's a good way to also really put it in our heads and
Yes.
not forget the great divine work that we should do here. And it's easy to forget. It's easy to be scooped back in that shit stem that we're in and
Yeah.
lose yourself in there again in front of the TV or whatever nonsense we have done all our life. But
Right.
I think little by little, day by day, we can evolve and really gives ourselves a chance to enjoy life, and to
Yes.
be present and rise and shine and do something with our life, being creative and stuff. And there's probably nothing that feels better than being more coherent with who we're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
we're on the way. We're on the way. Truman Show is on the go. Boom. We're up. So much love. It's all love, and it's always been love. It's only love, and
Yes.
love for higher and divine. That's what brings us here, and that brings us to love ourselves and love others. So much love, everyone. See ya.
See you in the next one.
Wednesday, 10 a.m. PT,
Yes.
live and direct
That's
with
it.
Truman. See ya.
We out.